I feel for us, we've cracked the local market. I think we can safely say it's the fastest growing category, if you can even call it that. But local cable, local broadcast, it's really like they've woken up even faster than the agencies and said, we need this. I think, Andy, what makes it really interesting is that they have the opportunity to optimize the currency. So from a performance standpoint, kind of gone are the days of talking about ratings and eyeballs, even though we know that still happens. I think with the local guys, what we're seeing with partners like Comcast Spotlight and NBC Universal and Comcast Freewheel is that they're saying, okay, well, now we can measure it, we can prove the performance, but also we have the opportunity to optimize it. And when we can optimize it, we can make that transparent to our advertiser. The advertisers are leaning in and saying, we love this kind of data, give us more of it, and actually, we're happy to spend more with you if you can prove that your inventory is performing for us. So local has really been one of our fastest growing areas in the last 12 months.
So could you just explain a little bit to people who aren't familiar with TVSquared how you work in the local markets, which probably is maybe quite similar to national media, but explain how you work in local and maybe what the expectations are perhaps in local as opposed to national?
I mean, brands have been doing this for years. We talk a lot about this. Last time I saw you on the panel at Advanced Advertising, we were talking about this as though it was, a lot of people on the panel were talking about it as though it was future state. We've actually been doing this for advertisers for the last 6 years. So advertisers are used to seeing this type of data, this type of analytics in support of linear TV, just like you would a digital channel. When it comes to local, really when we started the company, we're now in 70 countries, but back then we had to figure out the US. And the US, for anybody that doesn't live here, is one of those amazing places that has like thousands of TV channels. But what it meant was we had to figure out regional, national, local cable, local broadcast, syndication, affiliates, and all of the things that went with that. So when we found success with Comcast Spotlight, we said, okay, this is interesting. This actually is these much smaller advertisers who probably don't spend as much, or definitely don't spend as much as they do on the national side, but actually have the ability to flex spend, increase spend relatively quickly, but also make changes to the media buy, because from a local cable standpoint, the availability of inventory is significantly bigger, the spot count is bigger, and they can say, okay, we measured this flight, this is how it performed using TVSquared, but actually look at how we could make it more efficient if we made these small changes to, say, a day part or a day of week, which would drive more efficiency. So what they're doing is they're making these changes and then they're running another flight and they're seeing actual increases in sales or conversions or whatever their business KPI is.
So how about growth on the network programming side? How is that going? And I understand that's going well for you guys. What's powering growth for the network side of the business?
I think somebody coined a phrase in our organization called controlled transparency. And I think what's driving the growth is all of a sudden the culture of the industry is starting to change. And people have said, you know what, we're not going to invest all of this money in TV without having performance metrics to back it up. So what we see is that everybody is now realizing that in order to stay competitive, win new advertisers, retain current business, they need to be able to demonstrate proof of performance. That's no longer ratings, it's more about tying linear TV and the performance of that to business outcomes. And that's what we're seeing. And literally, it's all of a sudden like attribution is the new buzzword. And I maybe thought attribution was the buzzword 3 years ago for brands. It's now, we're seeing that for networks. It's like they're all of a sudden they're catching up. And what we've seen is once one or two start doing it, the others realize that they really have to get on board and follow suit.
And just tell us about your business model and how you guys, where revenue comes from.
So we're a subscription service. Obviously, we were very heavily a brand direct business when we first started the company. But over the years, we've seen that not only, brands are very used to using this, the CMOs want TV and want to be able to consume it in the same way that they do their digital channels. Then we started to see networks really engaging. So the big network agencies, but also the independent agencies realizing that they needed attribution. Then we've seen the networks coming on as well. But from a business model perspective, we were very heavily brand dominant. What we're now seeing is that we're probably about 30 across the board. Subscription-based service, you come on, you pay a monthly fee, and you can have unlimited users, and you're looking to track as many websites as you want. We also obviously take phone data, SMS data, which is pertinent to political campaigns. We take app data, so if you're looking to download an app or register for something, we track all of that.
And what are some of the big KPIs you're seeing? What do people want to see around performance? I mean, are there it varies, I'm sure, for client to client, but what are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, it really does depend on the brand. I think the biggest thing for us right now is D2C, so the direct-to-consumer stuff is really bubbling up. Companies that are in hyper growth that realize that TV is one of their biggest assets. From a measurement and KPI perspective, we see brands coming on that say, you know what, we want to work with you in 20 countries. We want a single view of how TV is performing for us. We have clients that we've actually written about before that credit TVSquared insights with 30% increase in sales. We have clients that have come on with an initial TV strategy that have then ended up spending 3 times what they'd originally planned to. And I think it's stories like that that are really compelling. I think, we've seen articles over the last couple of weeks that say, maybe we said TV was dead a little bit too early. And certainly what we're seeing is that where you can prove TV works, people are actually moving money back into TV.